name's Ed Best. I've been going to this church for 11 years. I met my wife Terry, and we were married in this church. Went to school here, was raised outside of town in the country. When I was 2 years old, my mother passed away and I was adopted by my mother and father and raised in a Christian home and all my life. And I asked God to come into my life and in my heart at an early age. Several years later, in the 80s, my mother passed away. And at that time of life, I had slipped away from church, grown long hair and a beard, was riding a motorcycle, and really not living the life. My mother passed away, and I remember being out in the backyard, holding my fists up at heaven, so upset, because I thought she was the most godly woman I ever knew, and why he would take her from this world, from me, and from all the people that she was around. I was so mad, I'm just furious. It was probably within 8 or 10 months I came around, and I thought, well, I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing either. So I joined Assembly of God Church in Pekin. I rededicated my life to God. I started walking the walk and not just talking it. And in '99, I had a heart attack at Keystone. And when I was on the way to the hospital in the ambulance driver told me, he says, "Oh, it's probably just heartburn, buddy, don't worry about it." And he was hooking me up with wires and stuff. And he said, "No big deal." And I can remember looking at stuff going by on the windows of the ambulance, and I knew I was leaving Keystone, and I kind of knew where I was going, you know, by stuff that you see, billboard signs or whatever. Then all of a sudden, he said, he was talking on a telephone in the ambulance, and either a radio or a telephone, I don't remember which one, but anyway, he told the driver, "Hit the lights and get me there as fast as we can get there." And it was really intense. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. And at that point, it's probably bad to say, but at that point in my life, I was having problems. And I just remembered saying, I'm going to miss my kids so much. But that was all, and my dad was still alive. But that's all I was going to miss. And I said, you know what? If it's time to go, I'm ready. Take me. And I was ready to go. I was so miserable with the situation of my life at the time that I was just fed up with it. I wanted to go. And so we got to the hospital. It was really intense in the emergency room. The guy was sitting on my chest with a needle and giving me a shot into my heart. And I mean, them people were wonderful. It was OSF. They were going like wild in the room. And I couldn't move. I couldn't move a muscle. They had my arms, my hands. They had a nurse at my side 24/7. I could not make any movement at all because of my heart. They said they did not want me to move anything. In fact, they would raise me up electrically and all that to do whatever they had to do to me. They wouldn't let me move a bit. So my dad came to visit me in the hospital, prayed with me several times. And he didn't know why I was acting the way I was, because there was a lot of drugs in my system. And I remember him crying at the bed and praying for me. And but it was a real eye-opener for me. And so everything got better after that, with God's help. A little over a week in the hospital, they did open heart surgery on me. You know, you hear other people talk about miracles, and sometimes because it's not in your life, I don't know, it's hard to believe some things. But anyway, I got my miracle. The surgeons told me there was no reason I should be alive. It was not anything that they did, for sure, but it was definitely God. And so I got my miracle. I wasn't supposed to work again. I was supposed to be on spatial medicine again. The whole plan had already been put out to me by the doctors and all that. And then right before I got out of the hospital, they did an echo on my heart, and they said, you know, it was like 13% when I came into the hospital, and it was 78% at that time, and they just said it's unbelievable. It was horrible to go through, but it came out really well, and I had all the people here in church praying for me. There's a lot of prayer warriors in this church, and they would call me and talk to me and pray with me on the phone sometimes, and they showed their faith. So I think it's important that I show mine to live every day to its fullest, because no promises for tomorrow. I feel that you can't just talk about it, you got to walk it. You've got to talk to people, you got to let them know that God is there for them, even though they're going through a tough time. And even pray with them if you have to. I mean, to help them out. Well, I just know I have a lot more faith now, because back when in my younger years, you know, you would hear everybody else's stories about what God had done for them, and now that it's happened to me, it's like, wow, I can talk to other people now and tell them, you know, hey, it's really, really good, it's real, and don't think it just happens to other people, because it can happen to you too. Well, I think it's important that other people share their stories too, not just me, because it helps everybody that they're around, or whoever they speak to know that this is real and that God is real, and they can have this happen in their lives too.